Sharpen all the edges that I hide, I'm a liar. See my body licking up the flames from the fire. They can never kill me, so they seal me even tighter. Who remains without 40 in the strength? I'm a fighter, 50 in the faith. Take me higher, I'm a riser, but my demons like the tide. Blood moon, yellow in my eyes. Blood moon, white fang, light blue, my stains, night flame. Let me guide into rose, yeah. Sun breath hit my wrist, blade fall like the mistake. Cares like a peak, yeah. Malacheth, turn a tarnish to a grace side, yeah. Kiss of death, but I miss the way it tastes like, yeah. Through the frenzy and the flame, I keep the honor beside me. This faith will abide me, we're burning the tree. Sharpen all the edges that I hide, I'm a liar. See my body licking up the flames from the fire. They can never kill me, so they seal me even tighter. Who remains without 40 in the strength? I'm a fighter, 50 in the faith. Take me higher, I'm a riser, but my demons like the tide. Blood moon, yellow in my eyes. War horse in the crypt, a nightmare, great sword on my hip, in my heart. I'm a riser, but my demons like the tide. Blood moon, yellow in my eyes. But don't wish for walls to talk. They scream until I left the room. Blood writing on the walls tells me I'm born inside a tomb. I don't cower, I just power back. Water breathing got me feeling like I swallowed glass. Form 11, lose the weapon, you don't see it. If you spy it, never try it. They can deflect, tweet what I saw, but I'm grand when I don't see that curse on the corpse. I'm a scourge, I'm the worst. Before the falling, I could bear this burden. All the things ago, I found my purpose. Sharpen all the edges that I hide, I'm a liar. See my body licking up the flames from the fire. They can never kill me, so they seal me even tighter. Who remains without 40 in the strength? I'm a fighter, 50 in the faith. Take me higher, I'm a riser, but my demons like the tide. Blood moon, yellow in my eyes. War horse in the crypt, a nightmare, great sword on my hip, in my heart. I'm a riser, but my demons like the tide. Blood moon, yellow in my eyes.
And we are live. Hello, all my BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to the second Grapple Gurus of the day. And we are here with your, PPV and PLE review show. And tonight we are here to review WWE's Bash in Berlin. I am super excited to be here. I am one of your hosts, Mikey. Joining me this evening is technically I have three co-hosts, but the first and foremost, I have Minnie in the house. So hello, my friend. It has been a day for sure, but I am happy to have you here for this one.
Yep. Still won't watch Ring of Honor or GCW.
I love it. And then our third co-host, the professor, will be here shortly. His laptop decided that it would not cooperate with him, but he is on his way shortly. It's not a BC Wrestle Pod review if we didn't have tech problems from the professor. We loved him to death.
Pretty went, hey, update.
I hate when that happens, honestly. But we are here to review WWE's Bash in Berlin, PLE, that happened on Saturday. Well, for me, Saturday morning, August 31st. And I'm excited to talk about this one because I thought this was a really fun show, and I will give more on my thoughts in this. But a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. If you haven't already, you can follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod. We're pretty much anywhere and everywhere. We have Facebook, Twitter, we have an Instagram, a TikTok. We have a YouTube channel, we have a Twitch channel, and if you don't want to go to each of those sites individually, you can check us out at the Next Level app, in which all of our social medias are there, plus to see some exclusive behind-the-scenes content. And then you can also have access to our little Patreon to help support the channel. We appreciate anything and everything y'all are helping us with this because we love what we do.
Up?
Yeah, we have a Patreon up. So we got some stuff up there. So go check out some never before seen stuff. And plus, if you want to see all our watch along footage, you definitely want to go subscribe to the Patreon because those are the only ways you will get to see those footages. But I digress.
Is the OnlyFans next?
Well, that's if we're desperate. Like, if the rent is due, then you know what? We'll talk about it when we get there.
Bi-Conics OnlyFans page where we talk about wrestling while some of us don't wear shoes, so you can see our toes. The grippers are out for this one, brothers.
Oh no, HR, we need HR. Oh my goodness. So I'm excited for tonight. Me and Minnie are going to, begin this very shortly. But just as a reminder, as I said this morning with the NXT No Mercy review, we will be talking about Bash in Berlin. And, for the most part, I feel like all three of us agree on stuff, but there might be times that we don't, and that's okay. So if you are tuning in and are interacting with us, hi, welcome. But just as a gentle reminder to everyone who is watching us at home, that we are going to be talking about professional wrestling. So please just be respectful in the comments, be respectful to each other. And I promise we will get through this together and we'll have a great time. If you are caught being rude and disrespectful, you will be blocked, banned, bamboozled. Good day, you lose, sir. So let's be respectful in the comments, y'all. In the words of Brian Zane with Wrestling with Regret, like what you like, don't be a dick. Alrighty. So, without further ado, let's just jump into this. So, Bash in Berlin obviously takes place in Berlin, Germany from the Uber Arena on Saturday, August 31st, 2024. I definitely love the city of Berlin. I think it is fantastic. And we kick off the pay-per-view with probably, honestly, a really fun match and a really good one. This actually was a really good match. We kicked off Bash in Berlin with this particular match for the undisputed WWE Championship. We have Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, taking on Kevin Owens. And the story that led us here is pretty much Cody pretty much gave Kevin Owens his title shot as kind of a thank you for him and Randy helping with the Bloodline saga that led to the match at SummerSlam. But Kevin Owens did not want it. He wants to earn it, and he didn't want it at first. And then it took Nick Aldis and Cody Rhodes in a backstage segment to kind of talk Kevin Owens into it after they mentioned that if Kevin wasn't going to take it, then he was going to talk to Roman Reigns because Roman had a rematch, which, we had Kevin Owens talk himself into it. And for a while, this feud for me was missing the heat. But then on the go-home show, Cody and Kevin cut a promo where Kevin revealed that Cody's working with the injured knee and basically says that he was going to get this title, whatever it takes. Cody says that they're friends, and Kevin Owens whispers to him as the promo ends that he does not have any friends. So this is where we begin. I'm going to begin first here. I thought this was actually a pretty stellar match. Cody seems to open up a bunch of these PLEs, which gives everyone else an opportunity to, be further down the card. I actually thought this was a fantastic job, and they did a good job of teasing Kevin Owens, turning heel on him, because there were points where Cody's knee blew out and Kevin was looking to take, at first he wanted to take advantage of it and then decided not to. And then he ended up doing so. But ultimately, Kevin couldn't pull the trigger 100% of the time, which then led Cody Rhodes to beat Kevin Owens and retain the undisputed WWE Championship. Minnie, I want to pose this question to you. So this, and I'll probably be repeating this for a majority of the card, this was a quick build up to this match for Bash in Berlin. How did we feel about the build up, and do you think these two delivered?
I like the teasing the whole time, but at the same time, this is one of the few ones where I was like, generally like, is Kevin actually going to turn heel? Like, because like he might. It wasn't one of those like very obvious, like, oh, he's not going to do it or anything. He was because Kevin Owens does it all the time. I mean, look what happened. He put his best friend through a TV screen back in the day. So the match was good. Good way to open up a show in Berlin. So I'm excited. I was happy to see that. But yeah, the clips. I'm gonna be honest with you. I guessed all these matches right. Haven't watched the PLE. Just saw kind of highlights of it. So
honestly, I understand that feeling. This weekend has been booked with wrestling, with 3 different companies doing 3 different pay-per-views, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So this is the last of the 2, but that is totally okay. I did appreciate that Cody and Kevin hugged at the end of all of this. So Kevin will live another day to not turn heel, but we don't know how long that will last. So that was a lot of fun. So we move on from this match, and we'll backtrack a little bit once Professor gets here to get his thoughts and talk a little bit more about that. But then we get into our second match of the evening, which by all definition was the shortest match. We have a WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match in which we have our challengers, 2/3 of Black Girl Magic, as I call them. We have Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill taking on the champions of the Unholy Union, which is Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And this is the story that led us into this match. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I had to piece together how we got here because the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship picture scene has been kind of all over the place. And unfortunately, it definitely suffered, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But back at Clash at the Castle, we had a triple threat between Zoe Starks and Shayna Baszler taking on the champions of that time, Jade and Bianca, and also having Alba and Isla in that triple threat match back in June at Clash at the Castle. The Unholy Union ended up winning by pinning Zoe Stark, thus Bianca and Jade losing their titles but not getting the pin. Then we had our champions bounce back and forth between SmackDown and Raw, challenging all different types of teams, but it was a whole entire mess. It was kind of nuts. And ultimately, Bianca and Jade got this match because they had a rematch clause, is essentially what happened. And, the builds has been kind of messy because the champions have been on Raw for the majority of the time. Then it's only been in the last week or 2 where they came back to SmackDown. We had that 6-woman tag with all of Black Girl Magic, so Jade, Bianca, and Naomi taking on the Unholy Union and Blair Davenport. Black Girl Magic picked up the win, and so they call their title shots for here. This tag team division's a mess, Minnie. We talked about this before, but I hate it.
I feel like the only reason why the Unholy Union even won the belt for 2 reasons. One, felt like it was they needed a Scottish person to win in the Scotland place because the other 2 did not win.
Mm-hmm.
And then they needed either Bianca or Jade had some time off, and they're taking time off, so they needed something to do with the tag belt, so they gave it to these 2. That's why I feel like what I feel like truly happened there, because their tag, I'm happy they had the belts. They're a great tag team. Messy run.
Oh my goodness, yeah. All right, and okay. Before we talk about the match, this is where I get on my soapbox a little bit. So. All of us at our WWE
Stall for time so Professor can get here.
We're trying. We're really, really trying because Professor's getting close. But I will do my little soapbox. We'll cover this match, and then actually we will, we'll figure something out. But anyways, this is where I get on my little soapbox for this. Again, I already expressed that the women's tag team division is quite a bit of a mess. And unfortunately, it's shown that this is the one division and the one championship on the main roster that suffers the most. And so we're not even hot potatoing it, but I still hold to this day that it was a mistake to unify the main roster WWE Tag Team Championship and the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships into one, because, these belts are supposed to travel to all three brands, but they only travel between only on the main roster between Raw and SmackDown, and they rarely ever go to NXT, which is very unfortunate. Yeah, so, well, Robert, you bring up an interesting point. I don't think they should have put the tag titles back on Jade and Bianca, because they should have had Bianca turn on Jade. So I still think we're going to get that story. It's just going to be happening a lot later down the line this year. So we shall see what happens with all of that. But let me talk about this match. Yeah.
Really quick. Another little tight side tangent. You know how much I say I really don't care about the New Day stuff going on with the Final Testament? Apparently Odyssey Jones just got released from WWE too.
Oh my God. Okay. You know what? We'll talk about that after we talk about this match, because that's also breaking news. But let's get into this match.
I'm not sure.
We'll talk about it in a little bit. But as far as this match goes for Bash in Berlin, this was a very quick and short match. I do think it was a lot of fun. I know in our group chat when we were watching this live, there was a bit of a dissenting opinion in the group between myself and Andrew and JVL in terms of whether we think Jade is being used to her best potential here and just overall booking of the women's tag team division. But we all came to the consensus that WWE has kind of, it's definitely a different experience, because when she was in AEW, she was protected and she didn't really lose. Jade has been having some matches, but she's been in a tag team with Bianca and had some wins and losses, and we feel that star power has kind of dwindled a little bit. I still think she's a fantastic person, but I do agree with JVL that hopefully now that Bianca and Jade have the titles back, we can continue to showcase Jade in a different way. But as far as the match goes, it was your standard match. We had a little bit of back and forth. I do like Bianca and Jade's finisher. And I will say it is a little clunky to set up, but the execution of it is really, really fun for sure. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that Jade and Bianca are champs again, but the whole build up to this and just the women's tag team division in general, I don't care, because WWE hasn't done a good job with them. Minnie, do you have any thoughts about this match and also just our women's tag team division in general?
No, I don't. Like, if we put more care on these things, then I'll start to care more. But they're kind of just there. It's a way. The only good thing that those belts do is gets more women on TV. That's it. Jade Cargill should be wrestling more like original Beth Phoenix if they want to push her like that, so then people start caring about her. But really, people aren't super caring about her right now, because all she's really doing is doing the Ultimate Warrior thing and then leaving. So hoping we get something good soon, because I'm kind of getting bored.
Yeah, it's really, really tough for sure. So we're going to take a little bit of a short break. Professor should be coming in shortly, so we got to set him all up with everything. So grab a snack, and we will be right back. So don't touch that dial, ladies and germs. We will be right back.
Yeah. Here we go. Sharpen all the edges that I hide, I'm a liar. See my body licking up the flames from the fire. They can never kill me, so they feel me even tighter. Won't white fang, bright blue, my stains night flame. Then we got into rooms, yeah. Sun breath hit my wrist, blade fall like the mistake. As I go peak, yeah. Malachite turn a tarnish to a gray side, yeah. Kiss it back, but I miss the way it tastes like, yeah. Through the frenzy and the flame, I keep the honor beside me. This faith will abide me, we're burning the tree. Sharpen all the edges that I hide, I'm a liar. Feel my body licking up the flames from the fire. They can never kill me, so they feel me even tighter. Who remains without a warrior strength? I'm a fighter, busy in a faith. Take me higher, I'm a runner, but my demons like a tide. Blood and yellow in my eyes, war horse in the crypt. A nightmare, great sword on my hip, bell in my hand. I'm a runner, but my demons like a tide. Blood and yellow in my eyes. But don't wish for walls to talk. They scream until I left the room. Blood writing on the walls tells me I'm born inside a tomb. I don't cower, I just power back. Water breathing got me feeling like I swallowed glass. Form 11, lose a weapon, you don't see it. If you spy it, never try it. They can deflect. Tweet what I saw, but I'm grim when I don't see the curse on the corpse. I'm a scourge, I'm the worst. Before the falling, I could bear this burden. 100 days ago, I found my purpose. Sharpen all the edges that I hide, I'm a liar. See my body licking up the flames from the fire. They can never kill me, so they feel me even tighter. Who remains without a warrior strength? I'm a fighter, 50 in the faith. Take me higher, I'm a runner, but my demons like a tide. Blood and yellow in my eyes, war horse in the crypt. A nightmare, great sword on my hip, bell in my hand. I'm a runner, but my demons like a tide. Blood and yellow in my eyes. Sharpen all the edges that I hide, I'm a liar. See my body licking up the flames from the fire. They can never kill me, so they feel me even tighter. Who remains without a warrior strength? I'm a fighter, 50 in the faith. Take me higher, I'm a runner, but my demons like the tide. Blood and yellow in my eyes. Blood moon, white fang, bright blue, my stains night flame. Then we got into rooms, yeah. Sun breath hit my wrist, blade fall like the mistake. As I go peak, yeah. Malachite turn a tarnish to a gray side, yeah. Kiss it back, but I miss the way it tastes like, yeah. Through the frenzy and the flame, I keep the honor beside me. This faith will abide me, we're burning the tree. Sharpen all the edges that I hide, I'm a liar. See my body licking up the flames from the fire. They can never kill.
Yeah. Here we go.
And we're back. Hi, everyone. He
Hey, he was here the whole time.
was here
The whole time. My goodness.
I may have exposed that he was coming in from the nether.
It has been a weekend for life and internet. Hi, everybody. Jesus.
Oh my goodness, Professor. I am happy to have you here because it's not a WWE review without the whole squad here. So
so kind. I missed the first 15 minutes. What happened? Anything interesting?
Well, I mean, I think
Odyssey Jones might have been released from WWE.
Yeah, so that's a whole thing. We don't know if that's the case or not, but
he was removed from the website and wasn't on Raw. So,
and the rumor was that they were thinking of upping the contract or changing it, so there was some bad photos, or that they were going to update his whole profile. But now they're debunking that in a way as well. Like, what is going on?
I don't know. And somebody asked Xavier Woods if he had anything to do with it. He goes, "I had nothing to do with it."
Oh, man.
Xavier not liking Odyssey being part of the New Day. That's wild. But outside of that, I'm happy to have you because I have thoughts and opinions about Bash in Berlin. So what you missed is me and Minnie went through the first two matches, but we do want to get your opinion on them real quick before we get into our next one.
Sure.
I'm the king of Berlin. 5-0 with this one, baby.
Oh, man, I went and
We'll
I chose
discuss-
the picks.
yeah.
I chose some of the picks I picked because I was like, if it's the right thing, they're not going to do it. I just tried to pick like the opposite of what I thought would happen, and I got hosed.
Remember, this is not exactly Vince's reign, so you can choose what your heart thinks it is.
That's the problem. Is I was like, I went against my heart on some of these, and I was like, there's no way that they're going to come on. Bah.
Well, so let's get your thoughts, Professor. So we did open up Bash in Berlin
Sure.
with the undisputed WWE Championship.
Yeah.
I already went into the story and everything, and I thought this was a really fantastic match, but I want to get your thoughts. So how do we feel about this being our opener and everything we got in the ring itself?
I did not dislike it. I thought it was a really solid way to open the show. It felt it felt safe and standard and sort of they're fantastic performers. They did a great job. I don't think they went out there let's not do anything dangerous. Let's not hurt each other. Let's still do the spectacle, right? So it was a pretty contained match, in my opinion. They still work great together. They still are good. I think this was more of a storytelling match than it was an actual let's show out and do all these crazy things match, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a great way to start. It kind of set a tone for sure. And I don't want to insult these two. It just felt like a longer SmackDown match to me. They just got a lot of time. It wasn't bad at all. It was sort of a standard, we're going to do this thing match. There's some great moments in here too, where they just started rocking each other in the face at one point. I like the storytelling of Cody's leg giving out and sort of Kevin not taking advantage of it. But when Kevin did, it was like, oh, you just blew his leg off. Okay, cool. That just happened. So there was some great storytelling in here for sure. The crowd was all in it. I mean, the crowd set a huge tone here that would reiterate the rest of the night. Like, oh my God, they're just going to chant and cheer and go for it. So I don't think, yeah, my opinion. I don't think it made, this isn't one that we're going to be talking about at the end of the year. This isn't a spectacle one. There's a few other ones here we might be. It was sort of a solid, honorable storyline. It was a solid, honorable match. That's kind of the best way I could put it. Does that make sense?
No, that definitely
it's kind of a
makes
weird way to
sense.
say
It's been interesting watching Cody outside of SummerSlam be the one to open up most of these pay-per-views
Sure.
since WrestleMania. But, again, I reiterate that I had a fun time watching this, but
Sure.
this is like, now that you said it, it did feel like an extended SmackDown match, but I still enjoyed it because both men are fantastic.
I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it for sure. And then I saw Robert in the chat as I was waiting here about Cody Rhodes fans by chance. That's the argument folks make on Reddit, right? It's sort of like you're a Cody Rhodes fan because you're told to be. And I like Cody. I'm a Cody fan. I like seeing the AEW rise and where we've gone, and they're pushing him wholeheartedly. So I'm not even going to say that I'm seeing the criticism. I'm saying, yeah, I could see what they're saying from that point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Cody's limited. And I'm saying he does matches that are pretty safe, and he saves the big, dangerous spectacle ones for big events once a year type of thing. Because, he tore a pec once, and he's got some history there. He might be trying to think more long-term than some of these other guys. So I wonder if that's what we're seeing or... but that was a solid comment. And I was like, yeah, I'm starting to see that point. Nothing against him at all. But this new crop of wrestlers are thinking about what happens after wrestling.
Right.
So I'm wondering how much of that is infecting certain matches or certain tones or certain perceptions.
Right. Well, speaking of perceptions, the other match that we talked about before you got here was this one.
Man. I got this right because I picked against my heart. I don't know what they're going to do. What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
I honestly don't
nothing
know.
like they always do.
What are they going to do? Like,
me and Minnie were talking before you got here. It's just like, it's really tough because WWE hasn't done a good job of making me care about the women's tag team division.
Right.
And then I revealed, in our group chat during Bash in Berlin while this was airing live, me, Andrew, and JVL having a lengthy conversation, not not only the women's tag team division, but also the presentation of and booking and how we're handling Jade. And, me and Andrew kind of like, well, I mean, we're not as hard on Jade. I do agree because JVL brought up the fact that, and we saw it during this match too, Jade was kind of not paying attention when Alba dived at her and she looked the wrong way and then got her, which I can see. But, this also brings up the issue in just the internet wrestling community in general. And Andrew was nice enough to back me up on this, and JVL agreed with me. It's really hard to try to being constructive criticism is fine, but it's really difficult because the internet is very hard on African American wrestlers, especially Black women wrestlers, which is very tough. I don't know what we're doing. Ultimately, we are going to get Jade versus Bianca probably down the line at some point, but I still hold to the fact that I don't think they should have merged the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships and the main roster ones together because it's not helping nobody. These championships are on the main roster between SmackDown and Raw, and they're not doing a good job. But this is supposed to travel between all three brands, and we only got it once in NXT since the Unholy Union were our champs.
And I still think Jade is remarkably talented. She's still learning this business, but at what point do we say, what have you learned and what have you been learning and applying and continuing? I do think having Bianca there has set her up to succeed. We've seen it. We've seen her change and grow exponentially with timing and other bits and stuff like that. You're right. I do remember that moment. There's another moment. I'm trying to find the replay right now where I was sort of like, oh, that wasn't, that was not that. So, I do think she'll get there. Again, this traveling to different countries, doing matches, getting in your head on that's relatively new. Nothing dangerous, right? It hasn't been anything that was egregious, we could mention all kinds of potato moments and botch moments in wrestling, and she hasn't really been a part of any of those. But at some point, you hope the deer in headlights thing fades a little, and she comes back to earth some. You're right, and that's another podcast in itself, talking about when we pile on and when we don't, and sometimes it's women, sometimes it's people of color, sometimes it's just folks that fall into that us versus them place on the internet. I liked this. This was fun. I did not hate this match. But now where do you go?
Right.
This is one I was like, I'm gonna be wrong. I'm gonna pick against my heart because it's like Minnie said, I went Vince McMahon on this. I picked against my heart because I thought they're going to lose, and then we'll see the infighting. And that's what we had talked about.
But it did not happen yet.
But it didn't really happen that way. So I'm like, well, where are you going to go?
Right. Triple H, we got to figure this out. And shout out to Andrew, who brings up something very fun. Have Bianca and Jade run through the women on all the rosters before running into a team that can match them. And honestly, I'm here for it. Have Bianca and Jade fight the tag teams on Raw and SmackDown, but also send them over to NXT to fight some of the women's tag teams we got down there too.
Sure.
And then team could match them though? The way they're being booked right now, you would have to combine Rhea and Charlotte to beat them.
So realistically, if they work more on their tag team chemistry, because they're almost there, they're just missing something. And honestly, it would just be a melanated explosion of a match, which I would love. Eventually, I would love to see, because we have Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend in NXT, and they gave the Unholy Union a run when they defended those titles at Great American Bash. So I would love to see Jade and Bianca go up against Lash and Jakara and just have those two go at it. Because I think Jakara is fantastic, but Lash has improved so much. And honestly, she's been having a killer 2024 in NXT. So I think with a little more work, I think you can set that up for amazingness and, awesomeness. But realistically, if you're going to go main roster, the easiest answer is Kairi and Io. I think those are the only two that really are at the level of Bianca and Jade. No shade to the other ones, but Kairi and Io are actually they've been working together forever. And as we've seen, we know Io and Kairi are amazing individually, and as a team, they're awesome. They're just stuck in this vortex that is Team Scissor Kick right now, as we dub them on Raw. So, I don't know. We shall see where we go with the Women's Tag Team Championships. I'm just hoping, Papa H, we need to do better. So we go on to our next match, which, oh my gosh, you guys, like, I did not know. I mean, I know what the strap match is. Wikipedia misspelt it, and the internet went into a frenzy of a different type of match. Instead of a strap match, it was a strap on match, and I was like, that's a different type of
Wikipedia
match.
put that in there. Oh
Yeah.
my god,
Wikipedia was out of control that night.
On the OnlyFans.
oh my gosh, they went D-Fight Island. Oh my god,
It was
I
out
can't
of
believe
control.
it.
But
Wow.
In our third match in the middle of the card, we had our strap match, a grudge match, if you will, between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Again, this is the long story we have been telling since, SummerSlam, and a little bit before that. Punk and Drew hate each other.
Right.
Drew at this point still has Punk's bracelet with his wife and Larry the dog's name on it. And so Punk wants to get even with Drew. So he's the one that, called Drew to have a strap match with him. Drew was absolutely obliged to do so. And this is where we are. I will give my thoughts in a little bit, but Professor, I'm going to come to you. So we have seen strap matches in WWE, and most of the time they are okay to not that great. So how did we feel about this strap match? And then was Punk the right winner in this match for you?
I picked Punk, knowing that it kind of writes him into a corner. But I did, and this was one of the three I got right. I don't know. I like that they kind of played the absurdity of this match, having Drew having CM Punk on his back and then hitting the lights as they walked away. I thought was a lovely touch. There was a few other gags like that were in there. I don't know if I've seen this strap match with the red lights and lights thing like live and watched it. I've seen it on replays for years and whatnot. So this was a somewhat new experience to me. It was clean. It was solid. I want to say on predictions that I was like, this is the match of the night. This is going to be the one that we all talk about. This is the one that we're going to go, oh my God, match of the year. And maybe I built it up too high. I liked it, but I was not. I don't know if I'll go back and watch this at the end of the year. But I had fun watching it. The story was super strong here for sure. Like this going into this, I'm not sure what more they could have done. Like it's still violent and it's still terrifying, and Germany was all over it, right? But I don't know. There was one or two. They were rocking each other with that strap, and there were a few moments where I think the German crowd was a little uncomfortable. It wasn't the it was the whack. I don't know how I feel about that sort of moment, because and I think that's what you get when it is so personal, and that's what you got to play with storytelling, right? If we're seeing this as an actual personal attack event, we all kind of get that, But if we know what we're seeing, and we can disassociate a little, we're able to buy in a little bit more. So, incredible, Matt. I mean, they did an amazing job in match here. I wonder if some of the brooding moments took me out of it. There was a lot of like go, 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 and then hold for camera moments, like sort of Drew staring down or CM Punk looking up, and I don't think that's scripted necessarily. And of course, it's cardio, and you got to take a breath. But I don't know. Am I off too far? Like, what do you think?
No, I can see where you're coming from.
Okay.
I like when McIntyre had Punk up on his shoulders and he's walking around and he was tapping the turnbuckle because they were behind him.
That was brilliant.
I saw somebody goes, holy shit, guys, it only took them 1900 years, but wrestlers are finally getting smarter.
Exactly. Or the jumping out of the ring thing, and it was like, what a smart move by Punk. It was like, he just jumped out of the ring, so now you don't have enough strap. Who would have thunk it?
Right? Minnie, I love that. It's like it took us forever, but hey, wrestlers actually being smart during these matches.
We've learned in the past year that wrestlers can in fact climb ladders. And they can be smart during strap matches.
I am glad that there's a few moments where I'm glad the table didn't break when CM Punk reversed and threw Drew over his head and land on the table. I was like, "Oh, you're standing on that thing. That's gonna suck if that's a breakaway." Oh, okay, you're fine.
You're good.
So there weren't any moments that took me out of it. But this was great. I really did enjoy this. I don't know what was missing from me.
I don't like the fact that he kissed the bracelet after Drew put it in the front of his tights.
I mean, yeah, that kind of did happen, right?
That's not sanitary, you guys.
That was a choice.
That's not clean.
That was a choice that was made, and I was like, "Well,
yeah,
sweaty.
that was. I mean, hey,
It was a good match. It was a great match. We're just having fun, guys. It was a great match.
It was definitely fun. And I'm wondering, Professor, like, I don't know about you, but for me, I enjoyed this match. But because I knew this is not the last between these two, if I'm wondering, it was like, okay, it makes sense for Punk to win here. He won. This is fantastic. I think Punk definitely proved that he still got it after all this years. And the fact that it's been like 17 years since he had his first singles win in WWE since leaving the company all that time ago. Fantastic.
Wow. I agree. I
Has it been 17 years? It's been 4.
They had some crazy stat, didn't they? Where they were like, it's been over, blah, blah, blah years.
I was like, Michael Cole, don't you lie to me. By the way, shout out to Wade Barrett this whole entire pay-per-view. He was on one, and I loved it. Wade
was great. I think the folks that were doubting his cardio and sort of crushing him after his last match you're right. We kind of silenced that a little bit. Like, no, he can still go. He still has a few years left in this stuff. I'm wondering if that's what it was. If it was a little bit like, I know this isn't over. There's no resolution or button on this. I know that we're going to have to do this all over again somewhere. Maybe that took me out a little bit. But I still enjoyed this. You know, I was wondering where the blood came from at one point. I was sort of like, wait, when did you, what happened to your face? Because there was a moment where it was like, he hasn't hit you for like 5 minutes. Where'd the blood, what happened? Little things like that, but nothing crazy.
It does. So I know for me, I really enjoyed this. I thought this was definitely a fun match, but I also knew going into this that, you know, with Punk winning, I was like, okay, we got one more match. You know, people are saying, oh no, Drew and Punk are not going to face each other at Bad Blood. I was just like, come on now, you guys. Like, I'm pretty sure who knows, I might be proven wrong and Punk may not fight Drew one more time at Bad Blood since he got the bracelet back. But you can end this feud on a 1-to-1. But I'm like, somebody's going to go over at some point. So we shall see what happens with all that. Sure. But overall, entertaining match. I think this is one of the better strap matches in WWE. And good job to Punk and Drew.
I think what made it work as a strap match to me was that they knew they were in a strap match, if that makes sense. Sometimes these matches that have stipulations are sort of like, let's make it violent and hardcore, and then they just do whatever they want. There was actual strategy to this.
Oh,
there was
absolutely.
This sort of, how am I going to do this, and how am I going to cat and mouse with you? And I really appreciated that.
Oh my goodness. So good job to both of these men. Punk gets the bracelet and the win. And we move on to our semi-main event match. It's been a really fun roller coaster just having 5 matches now, especially after covering All In, which we had like 9. And then
which I still haven't finished. My week has been so bad.
Oh my goodness.
I haven't
you better be prepared because All Out is this Saturday. It's about to get buck wild.
I've ignored everything for a week. Oh, it's been miserable. Anyway.
It's crazy. So I'm going to just put this up here because you guys, I was not prepared. Like, everyone went balls. The Terror Twins went balls to the wall during this match. Like, I don't know what kind of energy drink these two hit, but they were firing on all cylinders and then some. And then same thing for Liv and Dominic. This match was just bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, the crowd was the most hyped in this match.
Oh, yeah.
Why can't we have pinned me like that?
It was crazy.
The pretzel pin, as she's dubbed it.
I had, because this was during the day, this was business hours for me. So I had a phone call I had to take, and I was calling people and dealing with a few things during this, and I was not paying attention to my phone call at all. I was sort of like, huh? No, hang on. Well, here's oh yeah, great. My son was all in on this. He loved every moment of it. And he was asking me questions like, do they hate each other? It's like, yeah, they do. Why would she do that to him? Well, they got a history. So he was all in on this thing. This is great. And I think I mentioned this when we were doing our picks. Like, this was going to be great. But I kind of overlooked this, and that's on me. I shouldn't have at all. This was all the fire and brimstone.
The funny thing is, if you look at this match on paper, right, you don't know any. You just know who the wrestlers are, but don't know any story. Never in a billion years would you ever think that Dom and Liv would ever win this match.
Sure.
And we were right. Because they got, but even then you hear the story goes, oh, there's no way in hell Dom and Liv are winning this match. And thank God we were right.
Yeah.
So
And this, I could have gone either way storyline wise, because I think you could have leverage one way or another. But the pop from them winning, the double Razor's Edge, the awesome moment where Rhea just triangle chokes Dom in the corner, and we're all like,
We came back to that. That's how it started.
this is
Yeah.
what I know. I literally yelled at my screen. This is what
You-
started it all.
Y'all saw Liv hitting the Quetzalcoatl?
Oh my gosh, homegirl Liv surprised me during this match too. I was just like, where has this move been, girl?
Liv's
Like,
great. Why does Liv get
That's
so
a-
much grief as a wrestler? Do we know where that comes from?
Because nobody can sell the Oblivion. The only
Okay.
person that's really been like truly able to like sell the Oblivion super well has been Rhea. Because Rhea's probably like out of the females, probably the best seller.
mhm.
Huh.
She's probably one of the top 3 in WWE currently that sells. So she hit that, which is super surprising. But there's probably not very many other women she can actually do that move to. And that's
Mhm.
another wrestler's finisher. I don't know her name. I have to look it up. I saw this the other day when I was going over some stuff. So that is another wrestler's finisher, and it's called the Quetzalcoatl.
Nice.
Okay.
We'll let to see it.
I was kind of bummed that we had the interference that I knew we were gonna have, and I don't know what it means that it just kind of put a pit in my stomach where I was like, "Oh, dumb!" Like I was just not about it. However, flipping that and having it be the result we got was great. So, I should not have overlooked this in the way I did. I was looking further down the card, like this is gonna be, but this one showed out.
It definitely did. The Terror Twins win. So
Rhea
I'm happy-
also, before we move on, Rhea also saved Liv's life in that dive that missed.
Yep. Because she overshot and Rhea was able to kind of like catch her as
Like,
they were falling.
Oh shit! Incredible.
It's fantastic. So me and Minnie talked about this on our Sunday review for the go home shows. I would not be surprised if we get Rhea and Liv at Bad Blood and Damian and Finn at Bad Blood. So I mean, it makes sense. The Terror Twins have won. They beat Liv and Dominic, so now it's time to go to the next stage for everybody in the Judgment Day to get their comeuppance. So we shall see what happens with that, because we have pretty much a whole month to build to Bad Blood now, since there is no pay-per-view in September. So we shall see what happens with that. Good job on the Terror Twins. Y'all made this match amazing. This was a fun time. And so then I'm looking at, so I rewatched this last night with my friend Uriel. And so I'm like looking at the clock. I'm like, we have like 35 whole minutes left in this pay-per-view. What is about to go down? And so we get our main event, which is for the World Heavyweight Championship. Randy Orton challenging Gunther. This story stems from King of the Ring back in May, in which the internet, and using it as a story beat for Randy Orton, was not fully did not have his shoulders fully on the mat when Gunther pinned him and Gunther winning King of the Ring. And so Randy basically saying Gunther took his SummerSlam spot. So now he wants a match to prove that, it wasn't a fluke. So Gunther accepts. We've had them brawl leading into here. And then we literally got a 35-minute match. And I will say, I can't speak for anyone else here. This was very old school wrestling, slow burn coded, and I kind of dug it. Also, shout out to Randy Orton for playing with the crowd and doing the wave in the middle of the match. That was hilarious.
Old school slow burn, like 1970s old school slow burn. Like the first 10 minutes of this were just, let's build tension. And remarkable. I overlooked this. You go back and watch, if you really want to call me on it, you go back 2 weeks ago to our picks and everything else. And I was like, this should be the match of the night. It won't be. The match of the night is farther down the card. It's Cody or Kevin. It's that strap match. I totally, I don't want to say I wrote this off, but I just undercooked it and went, no, this is a good one. We got Gunther here. Fine. I was not expecting this lesson in professional wrestling. Randy going at the audience the way he did was adorable. It kind of made me feel like I was wrong with my pick, because for me to be right with my pick, he would have to go heel, and he wasn't. He was staying face. So I kind of knew about 10 minutes in, like, I just went 3-2 for Bash at Berlin. Like, there's no way. But this was fun.
It definitely was.
Yeah.
Minnie.
I like seeing Randy have fun.
Yeah.
Me
It's
too.
great. Randy, he's at the point in his career where he doesn't need to sell seats anymore. His name alone will put people in seats. And he's been doing this now for, damn near 30 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's just like he's just signed another 5-year contract. He's set through 2029 or whatever it is. He's ready to go, comes in, has fun. He knows the business, and you have Gunther, who respects the business heavily. His whole thing is his character is, I respect the wrestling business. I want somebody to be able to wrestle.
Yeah.
So they can put on a clinic.
So
And
I just taught The Undertaker in my class, and this is related because I teach a theater class. And the thing
Saw
that I
that on
taught,
Instagram. It was fantastic.
the thing I taught was some moments of our Randy versus Undertaker feud, the Legends feud, that 2004-2005 thing. And I had students going, "Wait, that's Randy Orton?" It's like, yeah, he's been around forever. And like the people, I mean, these are 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds, like they're young, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's what he looked like." And I was like, yeah. So the mind trip for me to be like, "Oh yeah, that was 20 years ago."
he was
Going
also
heads up with the Undertaker to where he is now. Dude is, if he's not on your Mount Rushmore yet, in the next 5 years, he probably should be.
you know who else has also been around for a while that I just saw a little bit ago? The Miz has been on the active WWE roster for 18 years.
Wow. When he, sorry everybody, we'll get back to the normally scheduled content in just a second. When they put Miz into the Hall of Fame, because they will, and he gives that speech about, I have 1,873 losses or something ridiculous like that, it's going to be huge, to be like, look at where you came from, look at what you overcame, and look at what you did.
Look at you being kicked out of the locker room because of chicken.
Because of
Where you're
stupid
at
shit,
now.
right? And
Oh
the
my
respect
goodness.
he has, and how good he is on the mic, and how good a person he is, and
Just the
humans.
fact that Miz has all these losses, but nothing will take away the fact that Miz is one of the few superstars to be a 2-time Grand Slam champion. Like, he has won every title twice in his career and has that 2-time Grand Slam champion to his name.
Beat John Cena at WrestleMania with a concussion.
Like, the Miz, I feel like, doesn't get a lot of credit, and that's for a whole nother podcast idea. Like, wrestlers who are undervalued or don't get enough credit like they should, and I would definitely include Miz into that situation.
Christian.
Oh, we'll talk Christian. We will talk about Christian this weekend, because who knows what that man in the turtleneck is going to be doing for All Out.
I haven't watched it, but I know enough to know, God, why. Okay.
We'll talk afterwards, Professor, because it All In kind of set up a lot of stuff, and then this weekend in AEW has been kind of nuts. But back to our scheduled programming here.
Sorry.
I love the I thought the strap match was fun. I love the Terror Twins versus Judgment Day, but honestly, this was probably my favorite match of the whole entire evening.
Yeah.
And dare I say, I have to revisit this. This earned its way in my top 10 of 2024, so I'm gonna have to revisit it to see if it ends up in my top 3. But my God,
I think
Randy
I'm
Orton
going
and Gunther
to
killed it.
watch this. I agree with you. I think this is going to be my. I feel like when we get to the end of the year, I'm going to have stipulations for each one. Best match with an international crowd. Best match overall. Best.
We'll come up with
technical
our
this
own
and this.
categories when it comes to
You
the end of
know,
the year. I'm
goodness.
super excited because it's gonna be great.
His sell of the RKO is so different and more, and in a way, perfectly devastating for him. Right, being this stone stoic of a man, and then just flopping out of it. Him going to the second turnbuckle to jump and do that frog splash always scares the hell out of me, because it's like a I almost said something I shouldn't say. It's like that large 13-year-old, when the pool's open and they just belly flop and you go, no, don't, right? Like there's just this feeling to that. The crowd was in on this. We didn't see the chop fest like I thought. However, the ones we did see were like, oh, that's still freaking painful. Yeah.
Like, that's gonna sting.
Well, and then the interlude in between showing Gunther training with the bands, like training the chops. I was like, that's terrifying.
We're training his neck to take RKOs.
Like, incredible. So I thought this was a blast. There's one or two moments I'm trying to find. They were on the outside, and I thought Randy was going to kill him with the steps, and that was terrifying.
He set up the steps. I was like, someone's gonna die. It's gonna be crazy. Like, when Randy gets those stairs, man, I'm like, I just go harken back to the heyday of heel Randall Keith Orton, and I'm just like, Gunther's about to die. Like,
sure.
And then I was saying this while I was rewatching it last night to my friend Uriel, and I was like, you know what? Watching him set up the steps, I'm like, Randy Orton is the only wrestler in character that he should be behind bars for the amount of crimes and laws he has broken over his career.
Oh, yeah. The guy used to pull toilet seats out of urinals and bathrooms in hotels.
He set off fireworks in Mexico.
Like,
well, on top of that, like in character too, he has punted people in the head who knows how many times.
He murdered the Undertaker in Eddie's car. Like,
he punch kicked John Cena's dad while John Cena was handcuffed to the ropes.
He also set fire to Bray Wyatt's house and also set the Fiend on fire too.
Has the best way to win any match as a heel champion ever, just smack the ref.
That part, like the amount of laws that Randy Orton's character has gotten away with is fantastic. But I love seeing this fun Randy Orton playing with the crowd, kind of being a little bit of a heel, but not 100%. Yeah. And ultimately, though, I know some people had an issue with the finish. I'm like, I'm okay with it because Randy didn't get pinned, nor did he tap. So, Gunther still looks strong, but Randy passing out makes a lot of sense, and you protect him from it.
Yeah, I had to warm up to it, too, because it kind of shocked me some. Just because we just...
first time Undertaker's done it to him.
Yeah.
I think.
Maybe it's because I was just sort of, like, surprised, maybe. I don't know. Because like we just talked about, we have heel Randy Orton who's a murderer and he gets tapped out. You're like, wait, what?
Well, he's not heel. This is face Randy. He's like, I wrestle good, but still a little bit of a dickhead.
I know. He's just enough chaotic neutral to make things happen. I could see
he puts people through normal tables, not mahogany tables.
Did he just land on it? I can see the criticism. I get it. I can see them both ending strong. I do get it. But I could also see I wanted a pin. I wanted to finish. We were in Berlin. Show me something. So I do see that a little. That is up for time to decide, I guess. I will say that Gunther found the best way out of the RKO, which is just shove him. He just goes up for it, and Gunther just goes poof. I was like, oh, that's all you have to do, really, is just shove him at the right moment. So I really did like this and it's a different pace. It's a different style. I think it spoke to the European audience for sure. It makes me kind of want to see them go again. I kind of want to see the rubber match of this. Can they do 2 or 3? I think you kind of earn it with this. Yeah.
I'm not opposed to the finish. I think you being choked out in a match is a dominant way to win the match.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't pin you. I choked you out. I made you go unconscious. That's how I won the match.
And I get that.
Because Gunther has no finishing move. He just beats the shit out of you till you can't get back up.
And I wonder if that's what the community's really used to, is sort of, he hit the finish. It's a pin. Like they want the...
Like maybe the power bombs are his finish. Maybe, or that chokehold's his finish, but most of the time he just beats the shit out of you till you can't get back up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he doesn't need one, but I think
I don't think he has a named finisher.
I think there's certain fans that kind of want that exclamation point on a match, and I get that. I watch so much MMA. For me, I'm like, you choked him out with that? There's no way you choked him out with that. There's no way that There's no way that happened. Like your arm's not sunk it, but that's just me being BJJ coach.
That is very fair. Really quickly to answer, well, Robert's 2 comments here.
Hey!
Are y'all going live for All Out? Yes, we are having a
Yeah.
live watch along this upcoming Saturday for All Out. So we're excited to do all that. And then your second comment, I don't think Gunther and Orton should do a third match with Gunther going over twice.
It's a good call. I don't hate that. I just had fun watching them like action figures, right? So maybe I'm just biased in that sense. I see what you're saying. It does feel like storyline wise, we got to pivot Randy, right? We got to get him going someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I wonder what would be next for Gunther then. How do we go to creative and go? Do we lean on this? Do we go this way? Do we go that way? I'm very interested to see the next few weeks of promos and sort of what's that mean and where we're going and what do we get out of that too. So I think that's just me being selfish a little bit. So
Hey, you know what? That's okay. And like we said, Gunther wins here. A phenomenal main event for Bash in Berlin.
Even on WWE's website, if you go to Superstars and look at the champions, you can check on their the stats of the wrestler. It has their signature and finisher move. Gunther has none.
does it just say none?
No, there's no option for it.
Oh, okay.
So like it has 0, but like then you tap on like Cody Rhodes, who has a Crossroads, the Cody Cutter, and the Beautiful Disaster.
Yeah.
So the Disaster Kick, the Cutter, and the Crossroads.
Disaster Kick.
He has his moves, where Gunther has none. So Gunther just beats the shit out of you, so you can't get back up.
It's not even qualified.
Well, then
to
why
be a
don't they
Hall
write that
of
as the finisher? Just beats the shit out of you.
Fame. I mean, they
What's
could.
Gunther's finisher move? You don't move.
You be like, if he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies. Yes.
And we know it takes Gunther's a tank because it takes top rope brainbuster plus a huluva kick to take him out.
Lest we also forget too, it took Ilya twice to beat him, and he barely walked out of the second encounter as the winner.
Woof.
That's saying a lot. I will say, eventually, when we get Ilya and Gunther for round 3, like all hands on deck, I was like, this is gonna be amazing.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
hey, but we made it to the end of Bash in Berlin. So before we get into the predictions and also what to expect this week, let's give our final empanada ratings for Bash in Berlin.
We did have the handshake at the end. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's kind of a button. I think who's that? Robert who commented that? Yeah, I think that's kind of the button for that. I think that's a good call.
For reals. So, Professor, I'm gonna go to your first Bash in Berlin. The first time we are in Germany. Well, it's been a while since WWE has been in Germany. So, how do you think Bash in Berlin did? How many empanadas do you give?
Bash in Aleman. I've warmed up to it some. I'm over the fact that I went 3-2.
We're gonna relive that in a second.
Man, I can't. Oh, oh no, you have the whole list. Oh no, it's John in a onesie. It's above average for sure. I'm not sure what felt flat for me, or if it could have been the mood I was in, or whatever else. But this is solid 8, worth watching again. Could be one of the matches of the year. One of the things I got to rematch. I'll put that on my list. Like I got to watch this Gunther RKO thing. That was something solid. Is it as special as some of the other ones on my list? I don't know. I'll have to rewatch and check that out to see. This is a solid 8. Like and not like a normal SmackDown 8 out of 10. It's fine. Like this is they did what they had to do. They got the fans excited in Berlin. The pre and post shows were fun to watch, and I never watched those. And I was still like, oh, why am I interested in this? I wish Kevin and Cody had took a few more risks here and there. I did appreciate the strap match and the brooding storytelling of that. So that I kind of had to warm up to. I feel like the women kind of got hosed, which sucks. I don't know how much. Do we get a time on that? Because it couldn't have been more than 10 minutes.
No, you know what? Hang on.
If you could find a time, because I thought they might get a little bit more run in there, but I felt like they kind of shortened it, and I totally overlooked the Terra Twins, Dom and Liv. Like I was totally like, I don't know what this is going to be. I'm not sure what's going to happen, and I enjoyed that way more than I anticipated. So surprised me, twists and turns. That was my 8 out of 10 empanadas.
Right. Bianca, the tag team championship match was 12 minutes and 2 seconds.
They got 12. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, I guess that's
Is that
okay.
the total match time, or does that also include entrances?
That just was match time. So
That's
very
not
interesting.
bad, but when Gunther and Randy got 30,
That's also true.
Sure.
So 8 for the Professor Mini. How many empanadas would you give Bash in Berlin?
I agree with Professor 8, mostly because of the women's match. They should have been a little better. Not super. It's. They need to do more for those belts for me to care about those belts. It's not like the match was bad. I just didn't care. That's the big thing. I don't really care about those belts. Other than that, everything else is pretty solid. It's a good little middle to give you some PLE to give you to watch, so we get to the other stuff later on.
Sure.
Now we're on the road to Bad Blood and see what happens.
Yeah. Speaking of Bad Blood, they did announce earlier in the weekend. Well, they announced this yesterday or Saturday that Bad Blood will be starting at 3 p.m. because there is also a UFC fight happening the same night. So they don't want the pay-per-view and the UFC event to, cross each other. So it's going to be starting at 3 p.m., which I'm like, hey, mid-afternoon PLE, like, I'm not going to say no to it. Be done and then get to eat dinner afterwards. Like, it'll be fun. So I agree with both of your sentiments. I thought this was a good, I don't want to say transitional pay-per-view, but coming off of SummerSlam, I definitely think this was fun. For me personally, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 empanadas. That main event plus the Terror Twins versus Dom and Liv definitely put it over for me for sure. And I will have to revisit this because I thought Gunther and Randy was my favorite match of the whole entire card, and possibly it may end up in my top 3. I just have to figure out, if I still feel that way by the end of the year.
Sure.
So, and again, as Minnie had said, we are now like 4 or 5 weeks away from Bad Blood. We'll see which matches we're going to get for those. And then once we are done with Bad Blood, all roads lead to Survivor Series. So we are in the home stretch. We are almost done with the PLE cycle for 2024 for WWE. No, we will not, cover Crown Jewel. So don't ask. I'm just kidding. We don't cover the Saudi shows here, and we aren't going to start now. So that is going to be it for this review. But before we go, there are 2 last things before we do our sign-off. So first, let's take a look at this predictions league.
Oh, no.
So I calculated all this because, Professor, this is what we all agreed upon when we did this. So here are where everyone currently stands in the WWE league. So I will go through all the records first. So for Bash in Berlin, I ended up with a final record of 4-1. The Terror Twins threw everything off for me. The Professor ended 3-2, and having a clean sweep is Minnie with 5-0. So once we tally that into our overall standings, currently in 3rd place is the Professor, who has an overall record of 18-9. Which is actually not too bad. He's close behind. And then because of the clean sweep, tied in 1st place with me is Minnie, who both have an overall record of 20-7. So Professor, you are still not that far behind, honestly. Like, you can catch up, and we got 2 more pay-per-views before the end of the year. So this is going to be an interesting one.
Oh my gosh.
For sure. But
it just feels like I'm farther behind. It's
what? I forgot what happens for the winner and the loser.
So winner gets a miniaturized custom predictions belt for the WWE league, and loser, during a review beginning in January has to wear a wrestling singlet / onesie.
That's it, though? Just during a review? It's not like go out in public and do things with it?
Well,
now,
we might make you do that when we all get together for Mania next year.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. Just be like, I lost the bets. Hi, everybody. Here's me.
So it might be for a week of
tops from the winners.
Yeah.
You got to go out in the middle of Vegas wearing the onesie and take chops.
Maybe not in public, but you can take it in the Airbnb or something.
Oh my god,
for something like that. My goodness.
Oh, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I might be okay with that for content.
We'll see. We might extend it because technically we started this after Mania, so we might finish with Mania as the final event to be like, all right, 2 nights, get all the points you can in. It's do or die for some of this, because once we get through Bad Blood and Survivor Series, we still have the Rumble and everything in between.
If you wanted to be mean, you would end at night 1 and start next year around night 2, and then kind of split Mania in half.
We got time, so we'll figure it out. But before we sign off, something new that we're going to do is let's take a look at the week in a glance here. I love it. So it is a little bit tiny, but I will read it to you. So obviously today is September 2nd. We are wrapping up our Bash in Berlin review. And earlier this morning, we had our NXT No Mercy review, which was also a fantastic one. Make sure to go watch that video. But for the rest of the week, tomorrow, Tuesday, September 3rd, we have our All Elite Ensemble review, where we'll be reviewing this week in AEW. And as of now, we're probably going to also do our predictions for All Out, since it's literally this Saturday. Wednesday, Los Lobos de la Lucha, the boys, will be reviewing this week in CMLL. Then on Friday, the 6th, we have Ring of Honor and TNA. And then the Grand Poobah leading into the weekend, Saturday, September 7th, we will be having a live watch-along of AEW's All Out 2024. And then we conclude the week with our WWE Dual Dynasty review on Sunday. So a week since Bash in Berlin is in the books, we'll talk about all the shows, the first shows after Bash in Berlin and leading to Bad Blood. So we have a fun week ahead of us, and it's going to be fantastic. So boys, thank you for being here this evening. This was a fun one, but we are going to sign off for the evening. So for myself, the professor, and Minnie, as well as the rest of the BC WrestlePod boys, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic. More importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will see you all tomorrow for our AEW review. But until then, sayonara, adios, and Minnie, tell the folks why we do what we do.
Because we wanted to.
We'll catch you tomorrow. Laters.